Hey guys, it's Loves to Loom here. I'm super excited to be back in front of the camera. It feels like it's been an eternity since I have filmed. So I have a couple different designs that I'll be getting out to you guys as soon as possible. This first one here is called Twisted Up. And this is one side. It also is reversible. I really love the back side of it, which is how I came up with the name Twisted Up, because it reminds me of little twists here in the center. But this takes about 205 bands to create. It doesn't really take that long to make either. So I'm so excited to be here. I do want to say Happy New Year's to everybody. I hope everyone had a nice holiday. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Alrighty, so to get started, you're going to want to have 4 bar pins wide. You want to have it all aligned like so. And for my wrist, for a full wrap, I needed a total of 8. So I just had the 4 set up here and then another 4 set up directly in front of these ones. So it's 2 loom lengths long. Just make sure you have them aligned like so. Also, do not mind my little tripod thing here. I cannot get it out of the screenshot. I had to put my old one and new one together because the new one was not, it was actually too big. So I had to kind of rig them together and it's not working out quite like I had hoped. So we're just going to act like that's not even there. So on with the bracelet. So for the borders, we're going to start which of these brown bands. I'm going to use my gold limited edition. And this is pretty basic. We're just going to start by laying a band on the center here. The first band we lay is going to be for closing. So if you like it really tight, you may want 2 bands here. So you don't ever have to worry about that breaking later on. So 1 band there, and then I'm going to go 1 out to the right, 1 out to the left. And then we're just going to go up the sides doing a single chain. Like so. So we're going to do this on the right and left side. Feels so strange filming because it has been so super long. There's been many times I've sat down to try to film, but it ended up not working out. So I'm really, really glad that I finally have a little bit of extra time to get some filming in. Get some designs out to you. So we're going to bring it all the way to the end, like so, and then bring it in to the center like that. We'll repeat the exact same thing on the left side. Today was actually the first day back for my kids at school. It was a pretty smooth day. I thought it was going to be just like chaotic after the break. We're all used to kind of getting to sleep in a little bit. But I'm actually proud of my boys. They got out with no problem. They were actually excited to go to school, which I cannot say is the norm. Probably because my oldest son had his new shoes and his new clothes from Christmas, so I guess he was excited to show that off. I didn't even have any trouble getting them to do their homework. Well, my oldest. My youngest son doesn't even have homework yet, but soon enough. Alright, so we're going to bring it in at the top like we did on the right side, like so. So you're going to come back to the beginning, and before we start laying our next bands, you're going to want to push all of these down just to give us some more room when we go to lay our next set of bands. So take a second to get that done. The next set of bands that we're going to be laying are the ones that are turquoise on this one. So I'm going to actually use red. And for this one, we're not going to start on this first row here. We're going to come up to the next one. And we're not going to lay this like we typically would lay a band. We're going to actually start on the outer pin. We're going to wrap it around the middle and connect it to this one here. So I'll show you what I mean. So start on the outer left pin, swoop it around that middle one, and you're going to connect it to that one there. Come up to the next row, swoop it around the middle pin, and connect it to the third. We're going to do that all the way up. If it's too hard for you to do that, and you need to lay it straight across, you can, and then you can grab your hook and just grab the front part of the band and just bring it behind it, like that. I find that to be a little more tricky or more time consuming, but whatever is easiest for you. You just want to make sure that it's not going through that middle pin. It needs to be going behind it. Whoops. Now we're actually going to do the same thing on this side, but I found that it's easier to work up the left side, and then we'll come back and do the same thing to the right side. And I wouldn't use a band that gets twisted up really easy or that doesn't give a lot of stretch, because that's going to make it just more challenging. I find that these opaque bands work really good for it. I haven't tried anything else. I'm sure the other bands will work, but I don't think it will look as clean if they're bands that get like really twisted up. So we're not going to put one on the very last set of pins. This is actually going to be my last one right here. So you don't want to put one here. Stop. So we're going to come back to the beginning. You may once again want to take a second to push these bands down, or you can do it as we go along. But we're going to do the same thing on the right side. We're going to start on the second pin here. Now on this side, I find it easier to actually start on this pin, because we're going to hook it from this pin to this pin. But if you're right-handed, it's going to be hard to try to swing it from this pin over there. So I work from the second pin in, swing it around this one, and then connect it to the outer righter pin. Righter pin. I don't know why I said righter pin. You know what I mean, right? Let's do that again. Come up to this row. Second pin in, counting from the left. Connect your band on it. Wrap it around that middle pin and connect it to the right side over here. And we'll do that again. Now, if you turn the loom around, like so, then you can do it the way that I was showing you on the other side. And you could start on the outer side and just do it like that. If you find that less confusing, you can do it like that. That way you know you're starting on the outside every time. So you come in here, sweep it around the center pin, and connect. So it should be looking something like that if you're doing it correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of mine and laid, and then I'll be right back in a moment. Alrighty, so I have completed laying all of my center bands, and I pushed them all down, so you may want to do that as well. It just makes everything a lot easier laying the next set. So just make sure it all looks like this. If you did turn your loom around, just make sure that you turned it back around for the next bands that we lay. So you want the arrows or the opening facing away from you. So now we're going to lay some center X's, and that is going to be the pink that is on this bracelet here in the middle. Kind of looks red in this lighting on my end, but yeah, the middle color there is what we're going to do now, and I am going to use white. So we're just going to lay X's all the way up, starting on the left pin, go diagonal to the right, and then we'll start on this one and cross it, like so. Start here, cross it out, and back. So we'll just be laying this X shape all the way up the center pins. I still can't believe it's the new year already, 2017. Time is just flying by. I didn't really do anything this year. I mean, me and my family just stayed in, watched the ball drop together, nothing fancy. We have a ping pong in our basement. We did play some ping pong. That was fun. What did you guys do? Did you guys do anything special? I'd love to read about it if you want to comment below what you did. Or even for your holiday, that would be nice to hear too. So we're getting towards the end here. You're going to take it all the way to the very, very end. Like so. As always, I'm going to push them down and work my way back to the beginning. And we're just going to lay one more set of bands. So for the next set of bands, and like I said, our last set, it's going to be the ones that are now white in this bracelet here. You can see it in the center a little bit. And you can see it more so on this side. So the white ones in this bracelet is what we're going to lay last. And I'm going to start on the right side. We're going to start on this bottom right pin right here, and we're going to do a diagonal band up to the right. We're actually going to also do it out to the left, so if you find it faster to just get it done at the same time like that, you can certainly do that, or you can go up one side and then come back and do the other. I think I'm going to go ahead and do it at the same time. It might be easier. So now we'll come up to the next center pins, diagonally stretch it to the right, and same for the left. Just keep going up to the next pin and doing your diagonal band out. Like so. Now you also might not want this band that you're laying right now to be like super tight. Because when we loop it, it's going to have a good amount of tension on it. So just be conscious of that when choosing this color or this band right here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get these laid, and once I'm finished getting these ones done, I'll be back and we can start the looping. I'll be back in just a moment. Okay guys, so once you have finished laying all your diagonal bands like I have, we're going to actually push them all down, take a moment and push them all down, and then we're going to turn the loom around so it is facing us. If you're not caught up, you can certainly hit the pause button and come back when you are all caught up. So now we can start the looping process. So we're not going to add a cap band on just yet. We're actually going to mess with these diagonal bands, the last ones that we laid. So if you're looking at starting on the first pin that the diagonal band is on, this is the front part of that band. Obviously, this is the back part of the band when you're looking at the whole band. So we're going to be grabbing the back part of each band, and we're going to just pull it forward or down like so. Just like that. So it makes that little shape. We're going to do the same thing to this side. Make sure you're grabbing the back part of that band and just pulling it forward. Makes like a little triangle on these three pins here. So we're going to do that to each set. So we'll come up to the next one, grabbing the back part of it, pulling it forward, connecting it to that pin. Do the same thing to the right one, just pulling it forward like that. It's very simple. Just like that. And that's why it helps by pushing them down so you just have room to reattach it. I'm actually going to lay my loom back down here, make it a little easier on myself. So that's what we're going to do all the way up. Just make sure you don't skip any. And of course you can always just go all the way up the left side, come back and do the right side if you think that's quicker. Just make sure you don't leave any undone. That was my heater kicking on in case you heard that big noise. My loom station is set up in the basement. So lucky for me, I get to hear the heater go on and off. And I'm on my last one. Same thing. Alrighty, so if you've done it correctly, it's going to look a little something like that. And now we can actually go ahead and add that cap band on down here at the bottom. So I'm just going to use the same color that I used for the side borders, which is my limited edition gold. So just a regular cap band. I'm going to wrap it twice on this center or second pin here. And then I like to grab my hook and just stretch the entire cap band over like so. That way it's wrapped around both of these two pins nice and tight. So now what we're actually going to do is loop these gold border bands that I was just talking about. And I believe this is the technique that Crazy Just Might Work showed me in her ancestry bracelet. I did a tutorial for her a very long time ago, and she came out with this idea, and I've used it a lot since then, but I do believe it was her ancestry bracelet where we did this technique. We're going to grab the back part of this band here, and we're just going to pull it over the hook like so. And we're going to do that on each one of these bottom bands here. So we're pulling the back part of that band up and over, so it should look like that. Do that all the way up. And the very, very top band, there's nothing to loop over, so you're just gonna leave that last one. And you have to do the same thing on the right side. So you're gonna grab the back part and lift it over. So I'm running out of room here, so I'm gonna go to finish this right side and I'll be right back. So this is what it should be looking like so far. The next bands that we're actually going to loop are going to be the red ones. They are the very bottom band on these two center pins. It's the very bottom layer in here. So it's a little tricky. We actually need to move this band out of the way right here and grab onto that very bottom red band. So if you notice, this band here, it's like straight, but there's a little hole right there. Just use your hook, move that out of the way, and grab the very, very bottom band. And you're going to actually carefully pull it up and just over the pin and let go. And then it will just lay like behind the pin like that. So we need to do that on both pins. So on this side, we actually need to move this part of the band right here. Get in that little space, grab the very bottom red band, and you're going to pull it up and let go. So we'll do that again. You almost see like a tiny triangle right there. See that little triangle? Just stick your hook in there, move that band out of the way, reach down, grab the very bottom band on that pin, and bring it up and over. Just let go. So we need to do that on each row. It seems like super hard to explain, but I know you guys totally know what I'm talking about. Once you move this band out of the way, you just got to grab the very bottom band and bring it up and over, and you're good to go. I can actually turn my loom a little bit. So from the back, if you can see, it's just sitting right on top like that. And if for some reason, like, this is just completely confusing and I'm not explaining it as good as I should be or need to be, please let me know down below, because I will have absolutely no problem, like, re-recording it, because I want to make sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Sometimes I find that I make it, like, much harder than it needs to be. Like, I'm explaining it too much, and it's just like, just show them and they'll understand. But then sometimes I watch tutorials and I'm like, I don't know what they're doing. So just let me know. If you don't know what I'm doing, tell me, and I will figure a way out to show you better. I feel rusty. It's been too long. I've been away too long. Okay, so since this is a slow process to get this part done, I'm going to finish mine out, and then I'll be right back to show you our next step. Alright, so I have finally finished looping all my red bands up and over. Just make sure you go through and look on top and make sure whatever color you're using, just double check. Make sure you didn't skip any. I've certainly done that in the other ones that I've made. So just make sure you didn't forget to bring any up and over. I'd hate to see a bracelet fall apart after all this hard work. So now we're going to loop our X bands. This part is super easy. So whatever color bands you laid for your X's, which are my whites, we're just going to loop them up. So we'll start here on the cap band, down here on the center two bands, or pins. You're going to push the top layers out of the way, and you are going to grab the second to last band, which for me will be my white one. And it should be that same band that's making the X. We're just going to loop it out to the right. And then this one, we're going to loop up and out to the left. Like that. Okay, I had to change my angle a little bit. Alright, so we'll come up to the next one. And now there's only one band you'll be moving out of the way for all of the rest of them. So just move the one band on top out of the way. Grab the next band. It's actually the only band left on there. Bring it out. And repeat on this left pin. I just totally skipped a pin, didn't I? I'm a mess. Do the same thing on this pin. And loop it out. Once you move that top band out of the way, it's the only, oh, look at me. It's the only other band on that pin. But you'll know which band it is because it's whatever band you use to lay your X's. So this part is very simple. We're just going to loop them all the way up. The left goes out to the left, the right goes out to the right. Oops. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get the last few done that I need to loop up, and I'll be back in just a moment. Alrighty, so now what we're going to do is we're going to actually loop the red bands again, but we're going to be doing it on the side pins. So looking at the side on the outer pins, we're going to be looping the third band down. So starting on this, not the first row, second row here, we're going to stay on the outside of the top band. So don't go through the top, stay on the outside. But we do want to go inside the second one. So put your hook, use the back of your hook and push the second band out of the way. And you're going to grab the third band, which is the red one, and pull it up and release. So to just sit on the top band right there. Come up to the next pin, stay on the outside of the white one. Go inside of the second one, move it out of the way, grab the third band, and you're going to just pull it up. Make sure that you're outside of the white one. It's like an inverted stitch, like the inverted fishtail stitch. So you just go inside the second band, grab the third one, pull it up, and over. And that's what it's looking like from the top view. And just to let you know, after this, after we do this step, we do the borders like normal, just straight up, and we will be done. Obviously, we have to do this step on the right side. Don't forget to do that. Whoops. Okay, so I've got all my left looped. You have to do the same thing on the right side. Start on your second pin. So I'm sure you have it down by now. So I'm going to go ahead and get the right side completed. And then once I'm done that, I will show you how to do the borders. I'll be right back. And voila, I have completed it. Woo! Alrighty. So I'm going to come back all the way down to the beginning. I'm just going to show you a little glimpse of what it should look like now. So the last thing we need to do is loop our border, which is the very, very bottom band, my gold bands. So we'll start on the 2 center pins down at the very beginning. Push everything out of the way, grab that very bottom band, loop it to itself to the right. Repeat on the left side. And at this point, we're just going to go all the way up both sides. So I'll just get you started off on the left. All you're doing is grabbing the very, very bottom band and looping it forward. So you're going in each pin, grabbing the bottom and looping forward. Just a very basic loop. When you get to the very top, you're just going to grab the very bottom band, bring it into the center, like so. Now go on your right side and make sure you loop all your bottom border bands up on this side, just like we did on the left. I'm going to go ahead and finish this part off camera, and I'll meet you back here to take it off of the loom. So when you have reached the top, you're just going to go down and reach into the very top pins, move everything out of the way so you can grab that very bottom band, hold on to it with one hand, reach down and grab the other side of it and the other pin. So you should have 2 loops that you want to bring together. And this is where we will attach our C-clip. Like so. So I highly advise you to at least use your hook to remove all of the side bands. And I always remove the top two while holding on to the C-clip just so it doesn't accidentally pop off. But again, I would use your hook to remove just the side border bands. And then carefully, once you have all the sides done, I hold the middle. And I slowly pull up like that. Now, I will tell you, when we first take it off, stick around because you are going to need to do a little bit of stretching. Just to tweak it a little bit, just to get the bands to lay properly. It's not a lot of tweaking. It's mainly just like stretching it. So, stick around just one more moment and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so when you first take it off, you're definitely going to notice the back side. These bands are going to look like messy and kind of loose. And this side may even look a little messy too. You're going to need to stretch it out. I stretch it this way first. And most important, you're going to need to grab the sides and you're just going to need to pull it like this. It's not going to hurt it. What it's going to do is help clean these bands up. See how it's already cleaned them up? You just grab it and stretch like that. And it just helps these bands stretch so they're not all messy. So take your time and do that. That's all that I did on my other bracelets to make that come out a lot nicer. So there you have it, guys. This is my twisted up bracelet. I certainly hope you guys like it. Please give it a thumbs up if you do like it, or if you like this video at all. If you have any feedback or any comments, don't forget to leave them comments down below. Also, Happy New Year's once again. I am so glad to be back. I definitely plan on having some more tutorials out to you as soon as possible, so keep an eye out for them. And yeah, so thanks guys. Thanks for sticking around. For those of you who are new to my channel, welcome aboard. And I'll see you all soon at my next video. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.